Hello and welcome back to Mary's Cooking. Today, controversially, I am making a vegan soup. Now, what you will need is one vegan, finely diced. I jest, I joke. It's actually all about this little guy today. You are gonna love this. Now, if you're not a fan of cauliflower, and if you're not a fan of soup, I'm telling you now, I'm about to change your mind. I'm going to turn you into a cauliflower follower. A cauliflower, if you will. Alrighty, you're going to need a few ingredients. Cauliflower, 2 large onions or 3 small ones. You're going to need 4 cloves of garlic. This is the featured item from my dad's garden today. Garlic. Cute story. I recently sent Richard, my husband, off to the supermarket to pick me up a bulb of garlic. He came back with 1 clove. 1 clove. Ah, lucky he's pretty. So we're gonna need 1 bay leaf, 1 1/4 teaspoons of cumin, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, definitely ground coriander, and I'm gonna say that is 1/2 teaspoon, 1/8 teaspoon of cardamom, and chili flakes. Salt, 1 teaspoon. Pepper, it's an iconic duo, those two. Apple cider vinegar, I prefer the organic one with the mother. We are going to need about 1 cup of coconut cream. I like to use the whole can because I definitely don't want to waste any of this goodness. Now, when you are shopping for your coconut cream, pick a brand that doesn't have any extra nasties added. This one is 100% coconut cream, and we are going to make this with coconut oil, vegetable stock. Boys and girls, please hear me when I tell you this. Please use vegetable stock. I did do it once with chicken stock. It wasn't the same. Whatever kind of vegetable stock you can get your hands on, you need 4.5 cups. Ready to go. Some fresh herbs at the end. The recipe actually asks for dill. I didn't have any dill. I did have coriander. Stop, stop. I can see you throwing things at the TV or the computer or your phone. But actually, some people love coriander and it is a delicious herb if you're into it. If you're not into it, throw it away. You don't need it. Dill will be fine, or a little bit of parsley even. Or leave it without the herbs. You don't have to be fancy. You're stuck at home after all. All right, let's start with our onions. We are gonna chop these guys up, and guess what? It's soup, so it really doesn't matter how you chop them because they're all gonna be blended up anyway. So just do whatever is quickest. If you've got like a little food processor that's handy and you like to use it, I won't judge you, just use it. But I'm just gonna roughly chop these little guys and chuck them in the pan any minute now. Forgot to mention earlier, this is one of our quickie episodes for people who don't have time to sit down and watch a half-hour show. So enjoy this. It's also quite an easy recipe once you've got all of your bits and pieces together. So just a rough chop. There is no technique needed here. All right, next step is take your coconut oil. This stuff can be very hard to get out. You want about that much. We'll call it a tablespoon. There we go. Don't need too much. I might pop a tiny bit more in. Once that coconut oil has heated up a little bit, we're going to add in the onions, and what we're going to do is let them sizzle, and then we're going to turn them right down because we want them to go translucent. So we don't want them to fry up and get all brown. They just want to be soft and clear and just bathing in that coconut oil, just kicking back, having a fat time. Once those are in, we're going to add in all our spices as well, but we're not adding in the garlic just yet. So to make things easier, I'm just going to add all my spices together. gotta do a good dash of black pepper. And just a few of these for us. We're not very brave. And 1 teaspoon of salt. Don't go crazy with the salt. This is the kind of thing you can add more of later if you need to. It's very hard to get salt back out again. All right, I can hear my onions sizzling, so I'm gonna add this and I'm gonna turn it all down. Gonna add Mr. Bay Leaf there as well. Don't forget to grab him out later though. You don't want little bits of him floating about in your mouth. And we're just going to turn that down so that our onions can cook but not burn. Give them a little stir around. This is a really nice way to really release all the delicious flavours of the spices as well. Good old garlic. He's fantastic for many things, especially if you have a vampire problem or somebody trying to kiss you. It says 4 cloves. Now look, that's a huge clove. So I'm going to call that 2 cloves, 3, that's 4. Here's my fun and unorthodox way of mincing up your garlic. It's so much easier. And again, look, this garlic is all going to be smushed up. And you really don't, it doesn't need to be specially cut in any certain way. You just want it in there. And that's fine, I reckon. I reckon even 2 of these is enough. I'm taking 1 of them out. 4 small ones or 2 really huge ones, I would say. I often will take this soup to work for my lunch. That's a good reason not to put too much garlic in there. I mean, it's already got cauliflower in there, so in some ways, you're not going to win any friends, if you know what I'm saying, after you've consumed it. Anyway, let's move on. I'm going to add the garlic once the onion has gone a little bit translucent, a little bit clear. Come on over, let's have a look at it. Yummy! All right, garlic goes in. Still needs a little bit, but the garlic needs to be cooked off a little bit too, so that's fine. And now for the hero of the dish, cauliflower. The humble collywolly. We've all had cauliflower cheese, which is obviously the one acceptable way to eat cauliflower. Some of you may have also had the benefit of deep fried cauliflower, also delicious. And look, some of you might like the humbled steamed cauliflower. I quite like to roast mine. But this is definitely the tastiest way to eat cauliflower. Just roughly chop it. This cauliflower was sitting in my refrigerator, starting to go a tiny little bit brown on the edges. And that's why I'm actually doing this recipe. Well, 2 reasons. I did promise my beautiful vegan friends that I would do something vegan. And honestly, every vegan I know is a stunningly beautiful soul. You know who you are out there. There's a few of you. So yeah, look, I wanted to do something for them. But also the cauliflower was about to go and be with our Lord. So I thought, why not redeem him? Look at it, roughly chopped. Can't get much rougher than that. Yes, brother. That looks good to me. I feel like it's cooked enough for those flavours to have been released into the wild. So I'm going to bring my cauliflower over and I'm going to add it all in. Whoopsies, it's going everywhere. Cauliflower down. Oh no. Oh goodness. Why do I make such a mess? All right, I'm going on a rescue mission for all these bits of cauliflower that went everywhere. And I'm actually going to turn this right back up again now. Stir it all through. Beautiful. What more do you need? I'll tell you what more. Und stock. We're going to add 4.5 cups of vegetable stock. Straight on in. Oh, listen to that. So that is going to come to the boil. Once it starts boiling, I'm going to drop down the heat just a little bit so it's just simmering, and I'm just going to let that simmer for 15-20 minutes or until all of the vegetables in it are very, very soft. Welcome back. My kitchen smells amazing. How about yours? Let's grab our soup off the heat. One moment. Yummy! This smells like so many good things and no bad things at all. It's delicious and we're not even like finished yet. Okay, so fun little fact. Let me grab some tongs. We now get to play this fun little game called Find the Bay Leaf. First person to find it gets a soggy bay leaf. Okay, let me quickly tell you some important information about this soup. And while I do, I'm going to get out my stick blender and I'm going to blend this up. Now, if you have a normal blender and you've got time on your hands and you don't mind making a bit of extra mess, a normal blender actually blends a bit better than a stick blender and makes it a bit smoother. But I'm going to use this. And I was going to talk to you, but I can't hear myself. The reason why a normal blender is better is because it makes it a little bit smoother. And this soup, when it's really smooth, it's like liquid silk. Silky and delicious. Couple more steps, and while I do these steps, let me tell you about where I found this recipe and where you can find the actual recipe online. So it's a recipe by a group called Produce on Parade, and it came into my life one time when I went to my beautiful sister-in-law Lisa's place for dinner, and she said she was making cauliflower soup, and I thought, oh, really? But I didn't say that because I'm much more polite than that. Anyway, it was one of the most delicious things I've ever put in my mouth, and here we are. So good. So Produce on Parade, I will put the link in the clip, and that way you can go and have a look at it. So the actual recipe says 1 cup, which is 250 mils. This is 270 mils. And I have put the whole lot in because why wouldn't you? It's coconut cream. This is the secret ingredient. You cannot leave this ingredient out. I will literally cry actual tears if you do it without the vinegar. It's nothing without the vinegar. 1 tablespoon. Stir it in. You do actually need to return this now to the heat, and I'm going to let that all cook in, and then I'm going to taste it and decide whether or not it might need a little bit more vinegar. Back up to a moderate heat. Let that come back up to the boil. Okay, while we're bringing that back up to the boil, let's take our lovely fresh coriander, and I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a chop. Beautiful. Okay, I reckon it's probably ready to taste. All right. Oh. Oh, if only you knew. If only you knew. This is so freaking delicious. You've got to just go out and buy a cauliflower, make that cauliflower your own, put it in a pot, all those beautiful spices. You won't regret it. Spiced cauliflower soup. Get on it.